this kind of broadcasting?
Concerned about my daughter, right? She's been in the midst of all of that, and she lives on a hill right above the beach in Malibu, going up to Pepperdine. And we've been talking to her throughout the day, and she said I should have evacuated earlier. Now it's bumper to bumper traffic. I can't get out. I'm sitting here. I guess I'll walk. If it gets closer to me, I'll walk away. And can't get in my car now. It's too late. And so I said, listen, if you see smoke or fire, just walk across and get in the water. And I've been calling her for quite a long time, and she is no longer there. So she called on one of the lines, right? She's on one of the lines. So we need to talk with her. But isn't it like a broadcaster? She called on the wrong line, so I told her to call back. Have I lost my perspective? My gosh. So I told her to call me back on another line so I could put her on the radio. So she's on the line. Let's see if we can have her join us. This may get even more confusing. I'm going to see if we can't put her on with you guys, okay? Hold on a second. Brynn?
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm okay. I was listening to you on the radio, and it sounded like you were a little bit scared and upset. So I decided I should get off the road as soon as I can and call so you can have a good radio show.
That's not a bad idea. You know.
Well, I was trying to get some people's attention next to me in the cars, and I asked them if they had a cellular, and everyone's like, no, we don't. We wish we did, but all the phones were down, all the electricity went down. We waited as long as we could, but the fire was like right on top of us, so we had to leave. But
did it come behind your apartment?
Yeah, right as we were driving. Well, I went across the street to some friend's house, and I drove across the street because I packed my car up.
Okay.
And we were watching, and there was a fireman running down the street yelling, "Everyone get out! Everyone get out!" And so I decided to leave then.
So do you think your apartment is in danger? I mean, it's not in danger, but is it...
Well, I tried not to look back, but my friends ahead of us were like looking back, and they said it was burned, but I don't know. I'm glad my school's okay because...
Did you get my CDs?
No.
No.
I don't care about CDs.
You're right.
So anyway, it was really scary, but everyone was coming together, and people were really nice and helpful and trying to water each other's roofs down, and we were giving people rides in the car. And my friends ahead of us, there was a professional basketball player walking by them, and he got in their car.
Did you see? Were you able to get your car out?
Was I what?
Did you drive your car out?
Yeah, I drove my car out, but my friend Rory left her car there.
Uh-huh. And what about, did you see your friend Hugh?
Yeah, he was okay. His house burnt down.
Did it burn down?
What was that?
Did it burn down?
Yeah, it was. I
Okay.
guess it went all the way down to the ocean by now.
Yeah, we saw it. Pictures that look like your section.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think we were going to get out of PCH because...
What was PCH like?
PCH wasn't moving, and I thought I was going to have to run at times. So I was really scared. Right now I'm still in shock because I just pulled over at the nearest place, and people were taking pictures of us driving out. It was like, if you're on PCH right now looking into the black cloud of smoke, it looks like there's nothing left but black.
Wow.
Sounds like a war zone, doesn't it, John?
It sure does.
Descriptions of the war zone.
Yeah, it sure does. Brynn, would you stay with me?
Sure.
I mean, I'm ordering you as your father to stay with me on the line.
Well, I just wanted to make sure you're okay because I know I'd be worried if you were in Malibu and I was in wherever.
Well, we've traded places before. We've had things like this happen, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, I just didn't want you to worry, so.
Well,
I'm fine, but
I love you, and I'm glad you're safe, and we just hope and pray for everybody else. Stay with me, okay? We're going to, on the other side of the commercial, we'll continue with this issue of life. With my daughter, Brynn, she's up in Santa Monica. Are you still there, Brynn?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to put Jack on the line.
Okay.
John? Hello?
Yeah, Brynn?
Yeah.
Can you hear Jack?
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Brynn. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm glad you're safe.
Yeah, I'm happy too, but I just hope everyone else is in Malibu.
Yeah. And you said people were coming together and helping each other at the last moment before you had to evacuate?
Oh, yeah. I mean, people I've never even seen that live next door to me were asking me if I needed help moving things. People were coming out of their houses and cutting each other's trees down so that the ashes wouldn't catch on fire with the trees. And people were talking next to each other in the car saying, is everything okay? You know, if there's anything you need, we have some water in the car, everything. I mean, I'm just glad I got gas because I didn't have any gas today.
Now, was there anybody going north on Pacific Coast Highway?
No, just about 300 fire trucks and police. Every time we looked, there was another fire truck going by, and I guess I heard from the radio that they couldn't get in where the fire was because it was gridlock with people coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of my friends said they were sitting on their roofs trying to water it down when the flames were right there, and the firemen just go, get out of the way, you know, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
They were trying to save the rabbits that were running out of the bushes.
Well, did you call your mother?
No.
Okay.
I wanted to call you first.
Yeah. Well, maybe Mom's listening to the program.
Okay, well.
Good. Well, where you going to be and where are you going and what's happening?
I'll be fine, don't worry.
Where are you going to go?
Probably home.
That's a good idea.
Now that I only have one.
Did you only have one home?
Good thing is I paid rent today.
Oh, that's good. You paid rent today?
Yes.
Put a cancellation on the check or something.
No, I'm kidding. Anyway, but
Oh, you're safe and that's important.
I just hope everyone else is too.
Isn't it interesting that we could do this live?
No. What else? How else can you do it?
How else do you do it? You do it live. Yeah, good. That's a good point. That we could talk about this and it just happens. Another issue of life, right? It's interesting because, you know, this is the first time I've ever been a father, and it's the first time we've ever really had to evacuate you, although I've had to evacuate me several times, but this is the first time I've had to worry about where you've been. And trying to do the program, Bob Noonan was kind enough to come on the program because I thought I would have to leave and I don't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I tried to borrow a plane from Mike and come flying up, but I didn't know where I was going to land.
Yeah.
And it didn't have a boat big enough to get through the waves.
Well, I was just going to go swim out with the seals if anything happened.
Yeah, that little float out there in the water. It was just a weird feeling, a helpless feeling, and I'm watching, and all of a sudden there's this picture of your roadway, your section where you live, and I went, oh, no, this is way too close.
Yeah, well, it's closer to here now.
Good. Well, okay, we'll come home
Okay.
and study.
Okay.
Why? I don't know. Maybe don't have a university. But.
Well, bye, Jack.
Bye-bye, Brynn.
Okay.
Drive
Talk to you
careful.
later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Uh-oh. Jack. I lost Jack. Brynn? Poor Jack. I lost Jack again. Well, you know, we'll have to call. I know Jack personally, so I'll call him and apologize again. But isn't it interesting, isn't it something that these kinds of things are going on right before our very eyes and right in the life of your broadcaster? And we were involved in a very personal way with the LA riots, and we got involved there because my car broke down in the midst of the riots on the very day that the riots broke out, and I was saved, literally saved by a black fellow in the ghetto where my car broke down. And we had him on the phone later talking about that very moment, and it was, if you've seen Grand Canyon, it was one of those kinds of experiences. So I don't know whether God puts me in these places and puts me on radio to do this. Hopefully it's a benefit and encouragement to some of you. I have in front of me a poem written by Fern, I think it's Dadian, D-A-D-I-E-N, and it's entitled A Policeman Academy Poem, a Police Academy Poem. But it certainly could be said of mothers of any firefighters, certainly policemen, because I think they are the unsung heroes in our communities. And let me read this to you, and you see if you don't think it touches deep where we all live. It reads, a deputy's mother, we could say a fireman's mother, has a lonely life. She has no status, such as a wife. While county folk sleep with no care, she lies awake. That's my son out there. I have no place at dinners and dances. I do not know whom he romances. At night I say my final prayer. Protect him, God. My son's out there. The inside jokes, the inward fear, are never dulled by passing years. A Huron shootout, the district fair. He's never safe. My son's out there. I cannot let my terror show. I can never, ever let him know. Only to God, whom I ever dare say, I'm so scared that my son's out there. A siren screams through the quiet night and wakes me up with a dreadful fright. The piercing sound shrills through the air. Has something happened to my son out there? He spends his time in court all day while his work is rolled over by a young DA. Don't any of the day people ever care that they're safe at night because my son's out there? Don't they ever think that a whole night's work is dismissed by a casual gavel's jerk, that he and his brothers are everywhere while we mothers fear for our sons out there? Their cars, we might say engines, are faulty, their radios are weak. If he needs help, will someone hear him speak? I could cry with rage that I cannot bear to know that that man is my son out there. And when the dawn finally summons the day, the knot in my stomach will go away, and I can smile as I brush at an errant tear. My son's safely home. My son's right here. Well, that's by Fern Dayen, D-A-D-I-N. Thank you, Fern, for that poem. And thank you for listening as we kind of develop this thing as it's happening. We pray for those who are most affected and for everyone who is affected, because you can't be part of the human community without being concerned and consumed by the devastation, the loss of life, the loss of families and homes. People's lives will never be the same. Even if insurance companies restore the homes, they cannot restore the losses, from private things and memories and the community that maybe never lived together again. These are the kinds of things that leave indelible impressions, and you then have choices, emotional choices. You will be better for them. You will be richer. You'll be more mature. You will be wise, because wisdom is knowledge plus experience. And these are those experiences, even if they're indirect. These are the experiences that make us wise. And you can become wise and more mature, learn to manage your fears and your emotions. That, yes, it could have happened to you just as easily, and we're all very vulnerable, because who couldn't be affected, whose life couldn't be changed by one telephone call? And these kinds of things can make us worse. They can make us be so pessimistic of life. Someone said the other day, maybe we're really living in hell and we've been lied to by everybody else. Maybe this really is hell. But, you can become rather hardened to all of this and wonder where God is. How can bad things happen to good people? And you can wonder and question. And that's not such a terrible thing, because oftentimes from questions there come insights, and hopefully there will be answers. And tomorrow comes and has its own challenges. That's why the Bible said, listen, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough care of its own. There's enough going on in today. Live today. Process today. Don't give the devil an opportunity by being so worried. Be concerned, okay. But each day has enough challenges and troubles of its own. So we're glad that we've gotten through this chapter of our lives, but there's so many other chapters for other people. And yes, and don't let me say this in a way that is a dampening, kind of a wet blanket on this discussion, but you know and I know that we live in an earthquake zone. And tomorrow it could be earthquakes. And it's not a question of the next brush fire, because every year there are going to be brush fires, and there may be more. As we were listening to Bob Noonan talk about San Francisco as being a hotbed. Yes, there are other hotbeds, and certainly there are earthquakes to come. It's not a question of will there be an earthquake, it'll be a question of how big and when. So take care of your families, take care to prevent. Prevention is so much cheaper and so much easier than cures. Don't sit around and wait and think it won't happen to you, because when we got up this morning, we didn't think it would happen to our daughter, and our daughter was not as affected as some daughters are going to be. She lost her apartment, perhaps. She certainly is going to lose some time at school, and there'll be inconveniences, and there'll be things that we'll have to talk through and talk out. But she didn't lose her home, and she didn't lose her life, and she didn't hopefully lose her perspective. The bad things do happen to good people, and God is at the same place. When all these people ask, where is God? The answer that makes sense to me is he is at the same place he was when his son was being crucified on the cross. And so how can he let these things happen? Because free will has free reign, and he wouldn't have it any other way, and quite frankly, neither would I. Take good care of yourself, and we'll be taking off a little early from the broadcast today, and go ahead and run the music, and we'll thank Bob Noonan for standing in and listen to Sound Journeys on the next moment. So he'll be carrying on, I think, a little more with all that's happening in the news, and we'll be back tomorrow, God willing, and we'll talk to you about that on the next issue of Life. My name's John Jolliffe.